around to actually doing it has been somewhat of a pain. So we just drop the focal length to something maybe like 30-ish, 31. That looks good. Kind of zoom up a little bit. That's about right. Maybe a little further. I may have to adjust this a little more later, but it looks fine for now. I don't shut up, Amanda, when you act like a brat. I kind of enjoy that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, SWOTOR, it's not like once you kind of get the hang of how everything works, it's much easier to manage. But yeah, like when you get started with this crap, it's really tedious and it's a lot of work. I mean, just kind of figuring out how everything is supposed to work and how things are going to look when you render it is kind of a chore. But I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's kind of a breeze. Relatively speaking, this is a somewhat simple program. I'd say she certainly looks awake. Maybe a little too awake. Looks like she just got an injection of coffee. Speaking of drinking, I've been doing nothing but drinking red wine for, the last 2 hours. So I'll try to get as much done coherently as I can. I'm not crunk yet, to use a popular phrase, but I am working on it. I'm not gonna sit and pose her hand for this because I'm not expecting it to be in the frame. Not this hand anyway. Maybe the other one, but not this one. We're not even gonna see that. But we should probably fix her eyes. Right now she's not really looking at anything. We want her looking over this way. Yeah, that hair just looks physically impossible right now. Uh, hmm. If it has any decent morphs, maybe I can fix that. Or at least make it look natural more than it is now. Yes, I've been told pain medication is awesome. I've never been on it, but that's what people have said. Yeah, that looks kind of better. Better than it did before, at least. And it's sufficiently messy enough where it looks like she just kind of got up. So that should work. Ah, that's a good question. How long does it take to finish one picture? Obviously, it depends on the complexity of the scene, but for something like this, for example, where there's not going to really be any, there's not going to need to be any like uh, huge amounts of post production or like any kind of like super intricate posing. I can probably finish a scene like this in about just the setting it up in Daz. I could probably finish it about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, and that's just taking into account like adjusting lighting and all that other crap. And then it takes about somewhere between 2 and 3 hours to render. And then, like I said, depending on complexity, usually just doing the post on it. If it's like one that needs a lot of blood or just other effects like blurring or whatever else, what have you, that can take up to fuck, several more hours. Like to give you an example, I'm trying to think now. Some of the Lexi blogs that I've done, the most recent one, the one before that where their feet were all gory, those probably took a combined total of about 8, maybe 10 hours each. But something like this should be relatively short, maybe 3 or 4. Still not happy with the way this hair sits. Mm, no, it didn't fix anything. Yeah, it's better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, we're not going to sit here and watch it render. That would literally be less interesting than watching grass grow. Um, because it has to compute every single friggin' pixel, and I mean, it's everything you'd imagine. If you can imagine it, that's what it is. Oh, but you know what I forgot to do that I really need to do is save. Again, another brilliant file name. Obviously, I will think of one later. I don't have time for that right now. All right, so she just woke up and she's going to be seeing a couple of little guys on her stomach. So she's probably going to be pretty surprised. Um, and the default surprise expression, what do they call it? Shock, yeah. It looks like ass if you crank it all the way up. See that? Does that look like shock? That looks more like I just shit my pants. Which, I guess is shocking, but not in a really natural sort of human way. I'm sorry, I missed the what you just said. As always, what are you referring to, Amanda? As always, what? So we will use a little bit of that, just not cranked up. Maybe just a touch. And then the rest of it we'll just fine tweak with each of the individual parameters. So her mouth will probably be just slightly open, maybe something like that. See how that looks from the camera. Yeah, that's not bad. And then her eyelids would be slightly pulled up. Right about there-ish. And then her brow would be moved up. Oh, thank you, Sotor. I appreciate it. Um, relatively speaking, I'm, if you want to put things in perspective, I'm still somewhat new at this. I've only been working with Daz and Photoshop, well, Daz since maybe a year ago, about a year ago or so. It was last summer, the very end of last summer, I started doing this. And then Photoshop, I started over the winter. Um, so, I mean, it's only really been a year, but I have worked on it pretty much every day for a year. So, and I mean, it's been, if I'm not eating or sleeping or at work, I'm doing this for the most part. I don't, I haven't had much time for anything else. That's not true. I'm exaggerating, but what I'm saying is I've spent an awful lot of time working on it, so I've crammed a lot into a short amount of time. Is what I'm getting at. All right, so just a little bit more scene cleanup here. Some other garbage we won't need. Are these pillows going to show up? No. We can get rid of those. Wait, which pillows? Ah, these pillows. Gone. We don't need this kitchen counter or any of the crap goes with that. Um, yeah, we don't need any of these lights. We don't need this. We don't need any of this ceiling crap. None of this ceiling crap. Don't need this thing. Actually, I don't even think we need the floor. Right? Oh, no. No, we don't need no floor. And this. Okay. I might add some other things just kind of as filler in the background here, because right now, if we rendered it, it would look a little bare. So I will probably add a few things back in, but for now, turning things off and deleting items that we don't need just kind of helps everything run smoother. So that's why I do that early on. Okay, well, so now I think we can add the tiny guys in. We're about at that stage here. Yeah, actually, that pillow looks kind of fucked up. I'll fix that first. Okay, so normally what I would do in a situation like this is if there's going to be a couple of, tiny figures, I would just use the low res models, but because they're going to be in focus and they're going to be right in front of the camera, I am opting not to do that. So we're just going to go with the straight Genesis 2 figures for this, which are not low poly and do eat up RAM. So if my computer just slowly blows up, you'll understand why.